All right. Welcome to the Ray and Everything show when we talk about Ray and everything. So I named this session The Secret. And really it's I should have named it Quiet versus Confidence. And the reason why I was naming it that is because you got people who are quiet but they exude confidence, and then you got people who are just exude confidence but are not quiet. And there's a difference. There's a big difference. Me, I lean more towards the quiet confidence, but that's because I'm older, and I realize that you have to be quietly confident in order to get what you need done. And then there's the just confidence, brash, and I'm I'm gonna do something. I gotta tell myself something in my head, in order to push through. I'm a big boxing fan, so it kind of goes into that. So this big fight coming up between Spence and Garcia, and I'm just putting a little time in and the different arguments I see, coming up to the fight. So we got roughly about I guess we got 10 or 9 weeks out from the fight. And Errol Spence, he's exhibiting quietness. He's not really doing a lot of interviews. He's definitely not letting you in the gym, seeing his training. And he's definitely just being quiet. He's doing a couple of little things on Instagram here and there. Nothing serious. Nothing that has nothing to do with fighting. And why? Because there's a irony, for lack of a better word, that happens when you push the metal, talking about you're gonna do something to somebody. You always hear that, don't say what you're gonna do, just do it. It's kind of one of those things. Now, Mikey, on the other hand, now he's not out there. He's out there, but he's not super disrespectful, but he's confident about his ability. He thinks that he can beat Errol Spence. He thinks that Errol Spence is a younger version of him. So he sees the holes, he thinks. And Errol Spence is like, okay, come on. If you can exploit him. But that's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to exploit him. But here you go. Mikey may be doing a little too much talking and exuberating a little too much confidence. But I get it. It's a big payday for him. He's trying to swing. You want to make sure people come out to see it. He's trying to make sure he hypes up this fight. This is a big thing. This is big for him. This is big for both of them. This is big for boxing. But as far as it goes with getting in that ring and recognizing, what Errol Spence is going to have to do, I think him and his trainer probably sat down and talked about it. They probably seen things, and people probably said this to them and that to them. And he's probably saying, what, let's do this in silence. Let's not have, we'll have a little media day, but let's not do all that. Let's close up the holes. Let's focus on what they may see, what I may not be doing right, and let's do that right. Right? Because that was one of the biggest things before the Kell Brook fight. It was, you know what? Let's focus on doing everything right. Let's close up the holes. You know, he didn't close up the holes in the Lamar Peterson fight because he was ready to go into the dog fight and he wasn't feeling the punches. So at that point, when he wasn't feeling the punches, you could tell because I saw certain parts of the fight, he was laughing, like homie, you too little. You're too little. So he started to pound him out. I don't think he's going to do that in this fight. He recognizes that Mikey Garcia is technical, so he knows, yeah, if you put your hands down, you mess up, Mikey Garcia can and will knock you out. Can and will knock you out. Or at least knock you down. So you're going to have to be technically sound basically throughout the whole fight. There's going to be some slip-ups, of course. But if you're moving right, because Adrian Broner survived it, and so did his last fight with Robert. You know, I keep forgetting Robert's last name because he's such a weak fighter to me. Down there at 135, he could have fought stronger than that. You know, he was winning the first couple of rounds, but he gave up. He gave up mentally. And you've seen it as he gave up mentally. And Adrian Broner gave up mentally too. Adrian Broner started to turn on, got angry and started to turn on in the later rounds of the fight. But for the first half of the fight, he had gave up mentally. Gave up. If he could have just had the 6 rounds and walked off and went home, he would have just went with the 6 rounds and walked off and went home. You know, Spence is not going to be that. Spence is going to close those holes. He's going to do a lot more smart boxing. He's not going to play the video. He's not going to play the game of, oh, I stand here and fight because you want me to stand here and fight. No, it's going to be half step backs and angles, half step back and angles, and clocking you when he needs to. And you really using the reach to do it. Really using the reach to do it. Really using the reach. And making sure his hands are up. Making sure his hands are up. And Mikey likes to do 1, 2, 3 where he presses the jab against you. And when you block with the high guard, he goes to the body. I would argue that it's a good tactic. It's a good tactic. It's a really good tactic, actually. You know, it's actually beautiful. But what he has to remember is that both fighters in his last couple of fights, none of those fighters practice half-step backs. Adrian Broner don't throw, really put nothing on his shots. He doesn't turn on his shots at all. At all. It's the pity-pat, you know, barely catch you shots until he decides to trade a little bit. And he stopped believing in his ability to trade to knock somebody out. I really believe he stopped believing in his ability to really let his hands go after that Maidana fight. But, you know, it is what it is. Spence is going to throw some shots. Spence is going to throw some shots. Spence is going to come in there, full man strength, at the age of 28, with like maybe a 4-inch reach between the two. I think it's 68 to like 72 as far as it goes with reach. And Spence is going to throw shots. A lot of jabs, a lot of sweeping left hand crosses, and he's going to wait to the later rounds to really start to lean in on those uppercuts. He's going to do in the earlier rounds a lot of those straight shots to the body. Spence turns on his shots. Spence turns on his shots. He makes sure that those shots are, you're going to feel it. Now with Mikey does the same. He sits down on a lot of his punches. He sits down on a lot of his punches on that jab. It's a very good jab. He sits down on that. He sits down on that right hand. And if you let him, he'll hit you with a good combo. It's going to be up to Spence to use. A lot of those times it's going to be up to Spence to smother a lot of them shots. Smother a lot of them shots. But what Mikey doesn't do is I have yet to see Mikey fight on the inside. And he's a great mid-range fighter. But he doesn't fight on the inside. But he's depending on Spence to fight on the inside. That's what he's bulking up for. He's bulking up for the inside fight. But what I would say is, if he's bulking up for the inside fight, something lets me know that he's forgetting about speed. Now he's going to use power and angles, but he's forgetting about speed. And the speed is going to be a key factor. The speed of movement around the ring is going to be a key factor. The short burst sprints, those are good for, it's good for power. A lot of good short burst sprints. But if he doesn't do long distance runs, the gas is going to come out as he's taking the hits. See, my thing is, at Snack, I don't think that they really, we'll see how it is in sparring. I guess they'll go through sparring and see. But I don't think they really understand the fact that, the taking hits part. The taking hits. When you have to start taking punches. When you're taking body shots, body and body, body shot and body shot, body shot and body shot. People don't really people don't really understand that. When you're taking them body shots, it doesn't matter how well you train. What's going to matter is, can you take those and go? Actually, it does matter how well you train. I think it matters how well you train is based on distance. We're going to see where it's going to go. We're going to see where it's going to go. But in my opinion, my humble opinion, Errol Spence is going to win that fight. Now let me talk about the outside people, and as far as it goes with being confident versus quietness. Now people are commenting on the fight. You got the whole boxing community commenting on the fight. You have other boxers commenting on the fight. A lot of people are picking Spence, but then there's a lot of people picking Garcia. And they keep, he sees something. He sees something. And then I even seen an interview with one guy interviewing Robert Garcia is like, can I whisper to you what he sees? And it's like, you whispering to him what he sees? Really? Y'all are hating. So, okay, that's cool. Whisper what you see. Whisper to him what you see. And let's see if he closes it up or not. Because I think what they see is boxing of the old. I think boxing of the new. Boxing of the new. Boxing's about to be revolutionized, evolutionized. And Errol Spence is that evolution. He's already taken it to a different level. What they see is going to be nothing. It's going to be what they thought you should be doing in a ring as opposed to what you really should be doing in a ring. As far as it goes with Mayweather, and if it's true that he's hating, he's putting $2 million on Mikey Garcia because he sees the same thing Mikey Garcia sees. Here's what I'll say about that. Now, Errol Spence has revealed that he touched Mayweather in sparring. And I think Mayweather just doesn't like that. I think that's just what it is. I think he doesn't like that, and he's giving some pushback because of that. But Errol Spence is his own man. And he's the future star of this boxing thing. And nobody wants to see Mayweather run around the ring no more. Nobody wants to see that shit. I certainly don't want to see that shit. I'm not paying. I don't give a shit if Pacquiao beats Broner and Pacquiao comes to, tries to fight Mayweather. I'm not paying to watch that shit. That shit better be free. I'm not paying to watch that shit. Why am I not paying to watch it? Pardon my language. Why am I not paying to watch it? I'm not paying to watch it because nobody wants to see Mayweather run around the ring. The Pacquiao won versus Mayweather when they first fought. I paid for that. I paid $100 for that. And Mayweather ran around the ring. And they barely hit each other. And they made hundreds of millions of dollars. They made almost $100 million to barely hit each other? You're right. I should be getting my money back for that. I could watch little Bronx fights for that. For that, like, come on. Ran around for 12 rounds. Ran around, pop-shotting for 12 rounds. That's what got Adrian Broner like that. Where you run around for 12 rounds, pop-shotting, and try to live off his popularity because you can pop-shot, and they just going to give you the win. No. So he got in the ring with Errol Spence, who was just in the Olympics, who had just came out of the Olympics, and Errol Spence was used to fighting, throwing punches, taking punches, giving punishment, body shots, head shots. And Mayweather wasn't used to that. So I'm pretty sure he probably was going to Mayweather's body, and he came upstairs to the head and wound up blacking his eye. Or he probably tried to duck and ran into one of them lefts with one of them sucker ducks. The one thing that makes Errol Spence, the reason why I'm picking him is because he's a more complete fighter than a lot of these other fighters. And the reason why I'm saying that is because he fights inside, he fights outside. He fights going backwards, he fights going forward. He throws body shots and plays chest shots. He pivots, and he pivots a lot. He moves, and he understands. He understands, and he paces himself well. And he understands shot placement, and he understands the ability of that jab. He understands how important that jab is. And I think Spence is going to wind up controlling that fight with his jab. I think Mikey Garcia is going to probably take so many jabs to the eye and the nose that's going to want to wear him down. And it's going to be mental. This is going to be a mental fight. This is going to be about who is mentally stronger. And what I mean by that is who is thinking when they get into deep waters. Who's doing the most thinking when they get into deep waters? Who's willing to block? Who's going to catch and shoot? Or block and trade. Or catch and shoot, block and trade. Block and trade when they need to. And I think Errol Spence is the stronger of the two. And I think his inside fighting is going to wear. He's going to wear his opponent down with that inside fighting. He's going to wear Mikey Garcia down with that inside fighting. And it's going to be bad. And he's not going to start inside fighting until the later rounds. When Mikey Garcia is somewhat tired. Mikey Garcia is going to be trying to take rounds off, and it's not going to be the same. And don't get me wrong, I don't really think weight is going to be much of a difference in it, because Mikey Garcia is just less weight he has to lose. So, he's not going to be weight drained, trying to get down to 135. But if he thinks that the idea that he should take punishment, that he's going to be able to take the punishment of Errol Spence, he's going to be able to take Errol Spence's punishment, he might have another thing coming. Errol Spence is a monster. We've seen what he's done. I mean, he did swell Adrian Broner up a little bit, but it wasn't like the Lamar Peterson where it was a stoppage. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like the Lamar Peterson where it was a stoppage. And Adrian Broner lost that fight because Adrian Broner don't throw no jabs and he don't sit down on his punches when he's supposed to. It's just the bottom line that you have to do both. You have to sit down on some of them punches. You gotta get, in order to get Mikey Garcia's respect. In order to get Mikey Garcia's respect, you gotta gain his respect. And a lot of those dudes down there at 135 and 140, they just wasn't gaining his respect. And fighter. So, they'll do a whole couple rounds of just going at each other. No real thinking, just banging heads, right? But what he doesn't understand is Errol Spence practices that. He practices throwing hard shots in multiple combinations to the bag. I'm talking about, when you throwing all power shots to the bag. Let me explain something really quick for people that don't know, for people that are not fighters, and for people that are fighters, because people that are fighters understand it. So it's one thing to tap the bag. You punch in the bag, you're doing jab, doing a little light punches to the bag, you're doing light punches to the bag. But then when you start throwing your power shots, you start throwing your higher quicker because you're sitting down on all these shots. You're really turning, you're really pushing an intensity level into these shots. Errol Spence practices that, going damn near the whole round with just power shots. I've sat there and watched him just go round for round on that heavy bag with just power shots. You know how much, how in shape you gotta be to just sit there for a whole round throwing power shots to the bag? It ain't a walk in the park. It's not a walk in the park. Not to do that. So my prediction is the second half of the fight, because I don't think, Mikey Garcia is tough. It's definitely not going down the first half of the fight. He's going to be hit with some shit, but he ain't part of my lane. He's going to be hit with some good shots. He's not going to go down the first half of the fight. His pride ain't going to let him. But when the second half of the fight comes and Spence really starts pouring it on, I mean, really starts throwing, power shots to the body, to the head, power shots to the body, to the head, power shots to the body, to the head, and Mikey can't run, then he's going to see what they mean by power. It's cool that they do it. It's cool that they it's okay that he gets to, he throws, he gets to do this. It's okay that, Mikey's going to throw some shots. Don't get me wrong. Mikey's going to throw some shots. He's going to throw some shots. He's going to land some shots. He's very technical. But what they don't realize is there's an extra piece to Spence, that when you're just as technical, when you have a game plan, that he switches up the game plan. He switches it up. And he goes into that next gear. We've seen it in the Kell Brook fight. He had some ring rust with the Kell Brook fight, so he was throwing his left hook to the body wrong, and he was getting off balance, and it was real awkward for him. But then he just rugged it out. He just started going for it. He just started pushing the envelope, really pushing the envelope, and it hurt Kell Brook. It hurt Kell Brook. It really hurt him. And so, we got to just think, if you're picking Mikey Garcia because of he's coming up and this would be that he can do this and he got this skill and he got that skill. Yeah, no one's saying he doesn't have skill. He has real skill. But he's not going to beat this fighter. He's not going to beat this fighter. He's gonna beat some fighters, but he's not gonna beat this one.